One of the biggest misconceptions I see with golfers is this idea of, in the backswing, really sort of trying to do a big rotation, get you back to the target, and then start the downswing with a big linear shift before then rotating. It's not going to work like that. And whenever I get golfers who reach out for help either through that door or online, they're often making these types of mistakes. And this is why you end up getting stuck, scoopy and flicky, okay? Let's talk about something that we can all sort of agree on. From a sort of laws of physics, it often gets classed as centrifugal, centripetal force. It doesn't ultimately matter what term we want to use, but the point is, when we go in towards the backswing position, okay, like so, and then we start the downswing, by the time your lead arm is parallel placed in the downswing, the energy of the club is equally divided up and down. As soon as your lead hand goes past that point, that club is wanting to go center seeking, which means it wants to go out that way. Now, that might not mean much, but if I was to stand from this side-on perspective, what I'm saying is where my body is positioned by the time we get to lead arm parallel is going to be really key, because if my hips are still closed at this stage, guess where that club's going to go? It's going to start to fall under plane. And this is why then if it starts falling under plane, this is why you either get stuck under plane and scoopy, or it's the reason why then you'll start pulling on the club to try and get the club on the back of the golf ball. And this is the kind of problem that I tend to see all of the time. So we agree with the whole idea that by lead arm parallel, the hips need to be parallel towards the target to allow the club to drop correctly on the back of the golf ball. So the question is, what should you be doing at the start of the downswing? And I've always say it has to be a rotational move. However, what we need to be careful of is, what I'm advocating is it's not this big turn and this big shift of your sort of back to the target. What I'm saying is it's still a nice turn, but as we start the downswing again, it's a rotational movement. So if I put my hands on my lower stomach, you can see it's a rotational movement. It's a rotational movement to the left. It's not this. It's this. It's not this. It's this. And this is critically really, really important. It's the most overlooked part of the golf swing, because when it comes to the golf swing, it's the same as if we were doing any other side-on sport, or quite often as you go an analogy, skimming a stone. Your body has to move this way for your arm to be able to release. You can kind of imagine trying to release your arm. If your body's going this way, you're going to get very stuck. So what I would suggest is think about that rotational move. Divide yourself into symmetry, swing up to the top of the backswing position, get your belt buckle, still feel like your belt buckle is downward facing, not upward facing, downward facing, but make sure as you start the downswing that your belt buckle is to the left of the stick. And if you do that, what it will do is it will encourage you to move the correct amount of movement to the left. It'll also trigger rotation, which helps the club drop nicely on the back of the golf ball. I'll see you soon.